It's 4:30 on WKYT this morning. North Korea claims that they have successfully tested a hydrogen bomb. The White House, though, is not so sure.
The University of Kentucky taking steps to keep students safe in dorms and in class with a new ban on some immensely popular hoverboards. And
a Louisville man is headed to speak with President Obama about new executive orders regarding gun control. Those stories and more this morning here on WKYT, starting here at 4:30.
This is WKYT This Morning.
Good morning. Welcome into the first edition of the news here on this Thursday. I'm Bill Bryant.
And I'm Rebecca Smith. Let's get a check of what's happening in the weather department right now with Micah.
Another good-looking morning outside. It's a clear start. A clear start means cold conditions, and we're seeing that out and about. The good news here is we're actually getting those winds still in from the south and southeast, so that's really pumping in. The milder air is still chilly, don't get me wrong, but it's not as cold as where we have been past couple of mornings. By the afternoon, 49 degrees. That's a pretty decent feel. It's well above average. You know what? We get warmer than that, but we also bring in some rain. I'll show you when that happens coming up in just a few minutes.
Okay, we thank you so much. In the news, flooding and mudslides plagued California residents after El Nino-related storms have drenched the state.
Firefighters spent yesterday trying to pump water out of flooded homes in Orange County. In Ventura County, a mudslide closed a major highway. Flooding around Los Angeles trapped some drivers in their cars. This comes as California continues to deal with a historic drought. Experts say it'll take years of steady storms to make up the water deficit.
You've probably seen someone using them or falling off of one of them, or at least heard about them. These hoverboards, they were a very popular gift for Christmas. But last night, the University of Kentucky told its students to leave them at home.
UK issued a temporary ban of hoverboards on campus, claiming that they can be a fire hazard, which they've proven to be in some cases. Garrett Weimer talked to students about the ban.
For Miles Gibson, it's a time saver.
So I got it basically at the beginning of the school year, just as a means to get to class, so I wouldn't have to walk. So it's definitely helped me get to class in maybe 5 to 10 minutes instead of 15.
For others, a troublemaker.
The last thing we need is just fires or anything around campus with all that's happening lately.
UK's fire marshal says hoverboards just aren't worth the risk. Now the university's banned using, having, or keeping them on campus.
We soon saw that it was a major problem and something that needed to be addressed.
UK is now among a growing list of universities, companies, organizations, even cities like New York and countries like the United Kingdom reportedly banning the hoverboards.
It shows you that this is not just something that's a knee-jerk reaction. It's something that is very concerning to us. Somebody is going to have a fire with one of these things, and I don't want it to be the University of Kentucky.
Well, there goes my way of riding my hoverboard to class.
Gibson says he's upset he'll have to leave his hoverboard at home, but he says he understands why UK's banning them. How do you plan on getting to class now?
Just walk. Just walk. Got to go back to the old ways.
In Lexington, Garrett Weimer, WKYT.
Does look like fun. We're told students would be subject to the university's code of conduct, and employees would go through human resources disciplinary policies if they were to violate the ban.
The White House is casting some doubt on North Korea's claim from yesterday that it conducted a successful hydrogen bomb test. The White House says early analysis of underground activity in North Korea is not consistent with the country's claim. According to the Associated Press, at least 3 U.S. intelligence aircraft have taken off this morning from an air base in southern Japan on what is believed to be a surveillance mission. A spokesman for the White House has said the U.S. will continue collecting evidence and work closely with other countries to determine the validity of the claim. The wife of a fallen Lexington police officer is asking the community to help keep his killer in prison. Glenn Donahue is serving a 20-year prison sentence for manslaughter in the 2010 death of Officer Brian Durman. But according to Officer Durman's wife, Brandy, Donahue will be eligible for parole again on February 15th. She says Donahue refuses to take responsibility for his actions. She is asking the community to write letters to the Kentucky Kentucky Parole Board urging its members to keep Donna High in prison. She said her husband did not get a second chance, and Donna High should not either. Donna High was denied parole in 2014. A man accused of forcing his way into a Woodford County home and killing a 6-year-old boy inside says he is not guilty. 32-year-old Ronald Exantis answered to murder, burglary, and assault charges yesterday following a grand jury indictment. Last month, police say that he killed Logan Tipton and injured other members of the boy's family. Logan's family was in the courtroom for the hearing.
I just wanted to say thank you to the whole community and everyone for their thoughts and prayers and support, and just continue to keep my family, especially my children, in your prayers.
Ronald's mother asked me to tell her was to apologize to her and to tell her, you know, how very sorry they are. And Mrs. Tipton, as gracious as that woman was, looked at me and said, you know, it's not her fault.
Exantis' attorney would not comment on any treatment or evaluations that he has had, but she said he has been actively psychotic for much of the time that he's been in jail.
Well, a Louisville man working in the gun industry will meet with President Barack Obama to talk about his plan to reduce gun violence in America. Barry Laws is the president of the American Firearms Retail Association and the CEO of Open Range in Crestwood. He will be in Virginia today to take part in a roundtable discussion about the president's new executive order regarding gun control. Laws say gun buyers in Kentucky likely will not notice any changes from the president's plan.
Well, what I want the public to understand is nothing is changing as far as coming into a gun shop and buying a gun. Nothing is changing.
Well, the president's plan involves expanding background checks, beefing up existing gun laws, and improving care for the mentally ill. 2 Franklin County firefighters had to be taken to the hospital after their fire truck crashed. A viewer sent us some eyewitness photos of the crash that happened early yesterday morning. The Franklin County Sheriff says the firefighters were headed to the call when the truck went off the road in a curve. The driver overcorrected, but the truck flipped onto its side. The sheriff says the 2 firefighters in the truck had minor injuries and were treated and released from the hospital.
After some disappointing holiday sales, Macy's is planning to close more stores and to cut thousands of jobs. The Cincinnati-based department store chain says sales fell more than 5% in November and December. Macy's is planning to lay off more than 4,000 employees nationwide. The chain also is planning to close around 3 dozen stores. None of those closures are in Kentucky. Macy's leaders are hoping the cuts will save the company around $400 million. Well, it's good to have you with us. WKYT this morning, and your Thursday is just getting started. That weekend now in sight.
Well, mothers are eternal caregivers, but who mothers mom? Moms Every Day has the story next.
We have 20s and 30s outside this morning. We get into the afternoon, and we're going to be seeing 40s and 50s. You heard me right. We're starting to see that warmer air, but then here comes a blast of those cold temperatures. We'll get into that forecast coming up.